Hello and welcome to another spontaneous live stream. As always, spontaneous. I announced it on the Twitch channel and on Twitter as well. Hope you've seen that. Hope some of you guys can join in and watch. We are continuing our flights from Alaska to northern, maybe even southern California, ORBX style, in ORBX dedicated regions, sometimes also ORBX add-on airports. And I hope everything is okay with the stream. I hope everything is okay with the sound. I've already prepared the airplane, which is the Quest Kodiak from Lionheart, and already put in the path and everything. So let's see, wind is coming from 240 degrees. So we are going to go for runway, let's see, 34 I'd say. Or wait a minute. No, it has to be runway 29er. Oh no, the one here. Okay, no, it's okay. I will check that. Yeah, we'll head down. Okay, so I have to check if the rudder is working. Flaps are set. Rudder is working. That's perfect. Brakes are working as well, I hope. Yeah, they are. Alright, so let's start our taxi. For those guys of you who watched the last live stream, you will probably realize that I am doing this flight again. The last time I went in the A2A Texan, which was a little bit slow, and well, I don't know about you, but I don't think that's too well enjoyable for you to watch me fly around like for 1.5 hours. So I'm hoping to do this flight a little faster here. So we are at Port Hardy. We are at Port Hardy and we are going to Campbell River Airport. We're just following the coast southwards, and then we'll head inland, follow some rivers, some streets, just to practice a little bit of VFR flying. You can see the VOR here. Yeah, and I hope you'll enjoy this flight. And maybe on the way we can talk about the latest news in flight simulation. There are some things that are really... Actually, there are some interesting things going on in flight simulation right now. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. So runway 25, I think this is, and I think it's fine. So we'll go with that one. Alright, let's go. Just let me check if the lights are all on. Yeah, we're good to go. And we are airborne. Flaps up. We're going to let him hold the vertical speed. No. What the? Is he holding the vertical speed? Yeah, I think so. Now I want him to hold the heading. Weather is pretty awesome actually, so we can climb up, but I don't want to go too high, so because I want you to see the scenery, of course. So we'll go for 4,000 feet, I think. He's still is he holding this altitude now? Or isn't he? Have to set power for cruise. Okay, we're good, I guess. Okay, we're looking at some foggy areas up there. We'll check that when we're there, if we can get through it. Alright, looks pretty neat. And we're not so much on course yet, but we'll see about that in a minute. Cruise speed is fine. .170 knots, it's pretty impressive. We can still go up a little bit. It's a pretty powerful plane. Pretty amazing. And it will get us to our destination a little bit faster than compared to the T6 Tix. And the problem is this is a trip of almost 92 nautical miles direct. So it's if we follow rivers and streets and roads, it's a little bit longer. So for the T6 Texan, this takes you over an hour, and I don't want to make these live streams just too boring for you. So we're going a little bit faster today. Okay, so I'll be gone for about 1 or 2 minutes because I want to make myself some coffee, and then we'll talk about the current news in flight simulation, which actually is pretty a lot. So I'll be back in a minute and see you then. Alright, I'm back. Just seeing that we actually are turning away from the coast here a little bit. Just want to correct that because I want to stay on the coast here at first, at least. We have a pretty nice cruising speed of 182 knots, which is fantastic for this airplane. Alright, so what is there to talk about in flight simulation at the moment? Well, for me actually, the biggest news this week is that PMDG have released an update concerning the development of their upcoming airplanes, the DC-6 for X-plane and the Queen of the Skies Boeing 747 for FSX and prepared, the new version of that. I think it's safe to say that the 747 from PMDG is basically a completely new airplane. It's not a version 2 or version 3 or whatever of the existing FSX 747. It's a completely new aircraft. It's a completely new simulation, and that's something I'm really looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to the DC-6 in X-plane because I think that will be a very, very neat add-on, but still I'm finding it hard to really fall, I mean, don't misunderstand me, but to fall in love with X-plane because it still has some things that I really don't like. I recently bought the 767 from Flight Factor, which is fantastic. You can see in my live streams that I did a flight from Stockholm to Vienna, I think, and it was great. It was a great flight. Thank you for all the guys who watched that live stream. And I'm planning to do more. I'm planning to use my X-plane and my add-ons for X-plane a little bit more than I did before, but still I find it a little hard to look over the downsides of X-plane. But back to the news. What else is there? Aerosoft have released Berlin Tegel. I think that is also something new. And considering that the Berlin-Brandenburg airport, the new Berlin-Brandenburg airport, is still months or even years away from being opened in real life, I think that's a nice add-on that you can enjoy. The PA-31 Chieftain 350 has been released by Alabeo, and which is also cool if you're into the airplanes from Carenado. I'm sorry, Alabeo. If you like their way of dealing with systems, depth, and all that stuff, then you're good to go with that one. And there was something else, I think. I have forgotten that one. Oh yeah, big news. Dovetail Flight School has been delayed for about 1 month. Good news is that release is now, considering that it's the 10th of May, today is about 2 weeks away. I think it is the 25th of May. So I've already seen some streams and some in-game footage of the simulator. Yeah, I don't want to be I don't want to judge it before it's out, so I'm waiting until I can take a look at the simulator myself. But it's safe to say that it's basically FSX with ORBX, with some additions of ORBX, which is nothing bad, don't get me wrong. And what I'm really curious about is what advantage there will be, considering that it's the first iteration of the FSX engine with 64 bits. So that is really something I'm curious about, and that is something I really want to know how that will benefit us. Okay, So we are pretty much turning away now from our initial path. I just have to take a sip of my coffee, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my mic is, or my headset is a little bit broken, so you might get some weird sounds there. Sorry about that. But as you can see, as we are approaching, wait a minute here, zoom out. Zoom out. Why don't you zoom out? Oh, come on. This is weird. Okay, so you can see that there are rivers going inland here, and we are going to follow them. There should be here actually. Ah, there you can see it. So this is the valley that will follow inland here. There are two rivers, one is winding up here and one is winding up here, and we'll follow the left one. Yeah, and there, of course, if you're interested in X-Plane, then the long-awaited IXEG 737 Classic has been released. That is something you should really keep an eye on, because at the moment I think it's, at least for me, that the price point is pretty high, and it is missing some features that I really want to have in an airplane that costs like 70, 80 US dollars. So I really want to have that in there, and it doesn't have them, so I'm still hesitant about buying it. I've heard mixed things about the airplane, but generally the reviews or the first impressions, whatever you want to call them, are very, very good, and I think it's one of the most in-depth airplanes that you can fly in X-Plane. So it's definitely worth a look if you're into the 737, but it's definitely no. You can't go wrong when you wait a few more weeks or months with buying it, because maybe it will be a little bit reduced in the price, and maybe you should wait for the first few updates or patches to come out. So that is something you should keep an eye on. Of course, you have seen that the A2A T6 Texan has been released, as I mentioned earlier. I did this live stream with the T6 Texan earlier, but I think it was a little bit too slow, and the live stream was kind of boring, so I redid this flight with the Quest Kodiak, because I think it's more fun if you have shorter flights, and then we can do more. What else is there? I think that's about it. Stuff, as I said, Dovetail is coming out, and all of that stuff, which is pretty much wraps up the last few days, weeks in flight simulation news, I'd say. There may be more. You can leave a comment if you know more, or if you want to know something about or if you have any news that are important to you, please let me know. Alright, so we are still... I don't know why the zoom isn't working here in this display. Ah, zoom. Oh, okay. I was in pan mode. Okay. Alright. So actually I'm doing something wrong here. I should be following this highway here. That one. I'm currently a bit too far south. So I wanted to follow that road here, which you can see here. I'm sorry about my microphone. I really have to get a new one. Well, I have a new one, but I just like this one that much because it's light and it doesn't isolate me from my outside world, so I can still hear the doorbell or whatever. Okay, so what if I want to do an altitude change here? Can I do that? So altitude away, vertical speed decrease. Can you do that? Okay, vertical speed -4. Doesn't do anything. Overspeed. Still have to get used to flying this plane. As you can clearly see, I'm not very proficient at the moment in flying this plane. So the river now actually should be separating from the street. The street continues here, that's the highway, and we will follow, well, not, we'll go in between actually. We'll not follow the river, we'll not follow the street, we'll go in between here. Because we're not that far away from the airport anymore. So, yeah. course, you can activate the yokes here if you want. Alright, so we're not that far away anymore. Elevation of the airport is 2,908 feet. So we'll approach at around 1,300 feet. There's an alert. Airspace ahead, less than 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, so we'll descend further, trim altitude away, and I don't know why he's... Okay, now he's doing it. So actually, it could be that the airport is already in sight. Well, it's... I don't know. No, it's not. Actually, it is. Here it is. Alright, so okay, so I'll stop our descent at 2,000 for now. Here we are, almost at the airport. Heading, come on. Wonderful. We are approaching our destination. Okay, let's hope that I will be able to bring this baby safely to the ground. That is something that I messed up in the last live stream with the T6 Texan, which is a tail dragger and is pretty hard to land from time to time, I think. Alright, switching to manual. It's getting bumpy here a little bit. Autopilot off. Reduce the power a little bit. I think there's no white band, or there is a white band for the flaps. You can see it coming up at 125 knots. How practical. Alright. So, flaps 1. And flaps 2. I'm aiming for an approach speed of around 80 knots. 80, 90 knots maybe. Too low. Still a little bit too fast, but I think it's okay. We're pretty safe on the glide path here, which looks good. And we're pretty well aligned on the runway. So, just waiting for the threshold to come up here. And I will be reducing the speed very much now. Idle. Let the ground come and flare. Oh, still climbing a little bit. Come on, flare, flare, flare. Oh, okay, here we go. Alright. Toe brakes. And taxi to the parking space. Okay, strobe off, landing off. Flaps up. Oh, 2D cockpit, nice. Central line pride, don't forget that when you're taxiing. So what are my plans? I'm planning to do another live stream today, which will be my German language live stream. We're doing a tour of Africa, and I hope you will be there too. And I'm of course planning to continue this live stream, and we're actually really coming closer to a change of climate and a change of terrain here. Maybe I will also go inland into the Rockies, cover the other areas that ORBX has so beautifully modeled here, and maybe we'll also do some other stuff. In case you have any comments or suggestions for live streams or any other video, just let me know. And in case you have questions, just let me know. Whatever, no problem, just ask me. There are no stupid questions. Okay, so here we go. We are... And let's switch her off. All right. Looks nice. Okay. What else? Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon again, and until then, I wish you, as always, happy landings.